Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. It's not just disgusting. This shit is freaky. The Bay. This is the 2012 faux documentary that is about infection, infiltration, and infestation. This was also a Patreon request from old Patreon supporters and good friends of mine, Brad and Brittany. They're still friends of mine. They're just older Patreon supporters who can't... Never mind. The plot. In a small fishing town in Claridge, Maryland, in the waters of a Chesapeake Bay, inside you, they grow. They thought they had it under control. Where have you heard that one before? A town is overrun by lice, known as Simotha exigua, that will take up residence inside them, spreading a terrible infection that will eat away at their tongues and create horrible blisters. They had no idea what hit them.
It's this big. How's it going to get through a filtration system? Well, what about the larva? All right, now we're bringing up more questions than we can answer.
Happy 4th of July. This one is messed up. It hits all the right spots to tug at your emotions. However, there are some flaws and poor edits that temper this from being an above decent found footage film. Our narrator for the film is seen washing her face in the water, hell, drinking it. Yet she doesn't succumb to the larva. I know around 700 people were infected out of the thousands that were in the town, but then why show the footage of her performing those tasks? Instead of having her washing up at the wishing well, give her a bottle of water. That way people like myself won't be asking why didn't she get infected, especially because her cameraman, did the same exact thing at a kiddie. Also, the cutbacks to scenes prior to the characters having a realization only for you to have a revelation of what happened was poorly timed and should have just been left out of the film. So what works about this one? This is a film that relies heavily on the creep factor, and not just the parasites burrowing inside characters angle. No. This film is genuinely frightening. There are several scenes that freaked me out. There are two that come to mind. The biggest one being when the cops go to investigate some noise complaints, and has had a suspicious activity going on. You don't see what happens. You're left outside with the patrol car's dash cam, seeing the house, and do hear it over the officer's radio. It's disturbing and disgusting. Oh yeah, they found the disturbance that was within the house, alright. The other is when the news reporter, Donna, and her cameraman are trying to get footage of, well, anything. Donna starts to talk to the camera, much like I am, but there's something off in the distance. Horrible. It's ghastly screaming. You can hear it. And it's not stopping.
The July 4th party. Did you hear that?
Now, I don't scare easy. The last time I was genuinely freaked out was when I saw the final moments of Vic Morrow and those two kids in the helicopter crash on the set of The Twilight Zone. But the scene with the police investigating the house, it chilled me to the bone, much like that footage did. The film makes you feel uncomfortable. I love that they build up to what these parasitic creatures can actually do. I mean, they describe what happens, but you don't really get to see it until the very end. That does end up clashing a bit with the CGI, but they do what they can with what they have. I won't go too in-depth with the characters because, well, there's no main characters. I mean, sure, there is Donna talking over the film. However, her cameraman didn't do his job that well and didn't shoot much footage. The thing that makes this all the more tragic is that the town of Claridge, Maryland, is a fully realized town, almost to the level of Amity Island in Jaws. It's done enough where you can care about the characters and worry about their safety. We see multiple perspectives and reactions. Everyone from the kids on their phone trying to get help from a friend or family, to adults filming family events. It's all the more personal, and it makes you feel terrible, because this loving community is literally decomposing, rotting away. The director, Barry Levinson, is no young up-and-comer either. He directed Good Morning Vietnam and Rain Man. Like, geez Louise, man. He originally wanted to make a documentary, but figured that no one would actually care or watch a documentary about pollution in a small fishing town. He found it to be all the more hard-hitting if he focused on a full documentary about a fictional event that could happen. It does make you think. I mean, the CDC does try to get to the bottom of it all. And they even get in touch with the military, who try to pin the blame on the CDC.
Great, I understand. Thank you very much, Officer Slattery. That's it? Okay. Thanks.
There is justice and even irony to those who were at fault. The gore, the effects, disturbing infected blisters, grisly dead bodies, and ghastly wounds, as well as some blood coughing. It's not a particularly gory film, but it is disgusting. As I mentioned before, the CGI is a bit low rent, but the parasites are seen at appropriate times. When the characters scream in agony to the point where they want to commit suicide to end their suffering, you know the horror is real. And those screams... The motion picture soundtrack there shouldn't be one. It's found footage after all. Drums are used to amplify the tension, and piano work is played when scenes need to be creepy. The common complaint where I disagree and agree is music in found footage films. That is a valid argument. I do feel it kind of works here. They want the message of the film to be taken as serious as they can. So to hire a composer to do simple instrumental cues wouldn't be too out of the realm of possibility. Like, if someone found this footage and was like, it's not going to be serious enough, I mean, it's horrible on its own, but if we add music, there is no grand, epic score, it's just a simple tune with a few instruments played to get an emotional response out of the audience. Overall, as of right now, and this is a very bold statement, this is one of the scariest found footage films I've ever seen. It is so disturbing without having to resort to bloodshed often. It also hits you like a brick with just how serious the outbreak is. Do you ever get to those scenes in movies where you're so scared you start to tear up? First time was when I saw Jurassic Park and the kids in the car and the T-Rex. I was freaking out. I was like, ah! The scene with the two cops investigating the house got a pretty strong reaction out of me. Will this get a glowing rating and a review? No, I mean, there are problems with it. Some story and editing flaws kind of hamper it a bit, and I could kind of see this being cheesy for some viewers. I mean, when someone's talking without a ton, it does sound kind of ridiculous. I mean, for me, I just found it to be over the top enough to be downright frightening. Well, overall, I give The Bay a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you all for watching. This has been Shark House Entertainment, And I'm just giving the usual shoutouts to my Patreon supporters. If you would like to support me on Patreon, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. You'll get early access to videos, shoutouts, as well as even some collaborations depending on how much you give a month. Also hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video, and as always, I'm melting.